My name is Lei Feng, and I have just traveled to a newborn child in the world of pirates. Cheap Dad is very mysterious, and from the moment I was born, there was no news at all. At the age of 7, my dad came back and said he wanted to take care of me at my grandfather's place. That day, a guy with a big face and an androgynous appearance called my dad Dragon, and I only found out his full name was Munch D. Dragon. I have a grandfather, his name is Munch D. Capp, and there is also an unreliable and neurotic brother named Luffy. With such a prominent family background, I originally wanted to be a salted fish, but the system was activated at this time. So I set a small goal to become a naval general before the age of 20. Unexpectedly, this small goal was achieved when I was 8 years old. Warring States period. Lei Feng, this monster, has set a new record for the Navy. He is only 8 years old, a naval headquarters general. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Me, Munch Lefeng, there's a system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I, Lei Feng, am 7 years old this year. It has been a full 7 years since I traveled to the world of pirates. I thought I was born into an ordinary family. In this crisis-ridden sea, being a stable frog at the bottom of the well is actually quite good. It wasn't until yesterday that I truly understood. My cheap dad, who hasn't returned in 7 years, his full name is Munch D. Dragon. And my full name is Munch D. Lefeng. Standing on the coast, Lei Feng looked at the distant blue sea with a bewildered expression on his face. What just happened yesterday is still vivid and unforgettable. Even as a traveler, Lei Feng still couldn't think of it. After 7 years of absence, Cheap Dad suddenly returned home, accompanied by a group of mysterious figures wearing black clothes to cover their faces. Among them, there is a guy with a big face and an androgynous appearance, who calls his cheap father, Munch D. Dragon. Yes. That's right. That's the Munch D. Dragon. Known as the most vicious and dangerous criminal in the world. The leader of a mysterious and powerful revolutionary army. Besides, I'm sure there shouldn't be a second Munch D. Dragon in this world, right? At that moment, Lei Feng finally realized. The problem is too big. Emotions. I still have a huge background. Surprisingly, it became the 8-year-old son of Munch D. Dragon. Is there the bloodline of the Munch family flowing on oneself? As a traveler, Lei Feng didn't know whether he should be excited or lament the unpredictability of the world. The idea of being a stable and ordinary person was already done. Spend this life peacefully, without venturing into the sea to compete for the so-called Pirate King's throne. The world is unpredictable. For no apparent reason, I became the son of Munch D. Dragon. That is to say the current naval hero, that Munch D. Capp, is his grandfather. And the other one, who is still wandering in the sea and clamoring to become the Monkey D. Luffy, whom the One Piece King has never met before, is his own brother. Thinking of these immediately made Lei Feng's thinking very chaotic. Just yesterday, Lei Feng finally left his place of birth where he had lived for 7 years and was thrown to the windmill village in the East Sea by his cheap father Long. He was handed over to his grandfather Kapu, who was temporarily staying in the windmill village, to take care of. Afterwards, Long was very carefree, leading numerous subordinates and quietly leaving windmill village, leaving only a few words for Kapu to describe Lei Feng's identity. Lei Feng vaguely remembers. When I first met Capp, Kapu's expression at the time was incredibly bewildered. How could Capp predict the sudden addition of a 7-year-old grandson? Not only is it difficult for Capp to accept. Even Lei Feng, a traveler with an adult soul, still has a very murky mind, which is disrupted by sudden news that disrupts his thinking. As a traveler with a prominent family, my grandfather is a major general in the current Navy headquarters and an irreplaceable hero in the Navy, Iron Fist Capp. Father, on the other hand, is the only leader of the Revolutionary Army Organization with the power to overthrow world politics, Munch the Dragon. There is also an older brother who has never met before, has an unreliable personality, and is very nervous. He is called Munch D. Luffy, a future pirate king. And in this powerful family, I should have been able to be a carefree salted fish. But something even more unexpected happened to me. I, Lei Feng, am 7 years old this year. The system was activated yesterday. Just yesterday. System, suddenly activated. It was precisely the activation of the system that changed Lei Feng's philosophy that had been implemented for 7 years. As a traveler, the system is certainly a must-have. But Lei Feng never expected that after 7 years, how could the system come? This delay time is also too high. 7 full years. And as the system is activated, Lei Feng's desire to make salted fish has completely dried up and wiped out. It looks like even God doesn't want to make himself a salted fish. Originally, Lei Feng has no ambition, he just wants to spend his life quietly in this crisis-ridden sea. But reality tells Lei Feng he not only has a prominent family background, but also possesses a system. In this way, what other reason does Lei Feng have to make a salted fish? Furthermore, it has to be said that the troublemaking ability of the Munch family is truly impressive. As a member of the Munch family, Lei Feng can only improve his own strength to avoid the possibility of dying in the hands of these troublemakers who provoke enemies one day. After calming down many thoughts in his mind for a moment, Lei Feng withdrew his gaze. Look around. Only see. This is a small village with a simple folk style and very simple buildings. You can also see large windmills standing inside and outside the village, spinning with the wind. This is Windmill Village in the East Sea. The hometown of Kapu, Long, and Luffy. Similarly, nowadays, Windmill Village has also become the hometown of Lei Feng. The fact is unchangeable. What Lei Feng can currently do is to try his best to accept the many events that have occurred one after another, and to accept his identity and background as quickly as possible. It's just been a full day since the system was activated. Sure, can we proceed with the first check that IN now? Lei Feng was lost in thought. The system he activated is the daily check that IN system. The system's capabilities are very easy to understand. For every full day of accumulated time, one check.in can be performed in the system. With each check.in, different reward packages can be obtained from the system. The reward package contains a lot of content, such as dominance, swordsmanship, demon fruit, and so on. These can all be obtained by checking in from the system. Of course, the rewards obtained for daily check.in are not fixed, and Lei Feng cannot determine the rewards obtained for check.in. He can only rely on luck to obtain them at will. And at this moment, it was just when Lei Feng activated the system for the first day. Suppress many thoughts in the mind. Lei Feng's expression was filled with a strong sense of anticipation, and his mind moved. System, start your first check.in. Chapter 2. First check-in, reward your dominance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, the cumulative time of the detection system has reached 24 hours. Can check.in be performed? Please confirm with the host again. Is check.in possible? The sound of the system suddenly appeared in Lei Feng's mind. Crisp and pleasant to the ear. Buzzing in the ear, constantly hovering. Moreover, it gave Lei Feng an infinite sense of anticipation. This is Lei Feng's first time signing in, and he himself cannot predict what kind of ability reward gift package he will receive from the system. Sign in. Lei Feng did not hesitate at all. The words have just fallen. The sound of the system rings again. Sign in successful. Congratulations to the host for receiving the ability gift package for the first check that IN reward. Do you want to activate the ability gift package? Yes. Lei Feng's eyes flickered with brilliance, confirming again. Ability gift package is currently being opened. Opening completed. Ding, congratulations to the host, you have obtained Overlord color and dominance from the ability gift package. As the system sounds in my mind. Lei Feng was momentarily stunned. Immediately. A strong wave of ecstasy surged into my heart. Lei Feng widened his eyes and had an excited expression on his face. Overlord color. Surprisingly, it's domineering and domineering. For the first time performing system check that IN, a domineering and domineering color was opened from the ability gift package. This only makes Lei Feng feel. Myself, is it not the legendary Emperor of Europe? This is a domineering color. Praised as having the potential to be a king among millions of people. Did you just get it so easily by yourself? Until now, Lei Feng feels a bit dizzy in his head. This surprise came so suddenly. On his first check that IN, he received a domineering aura from the gift package, which Lei Feng couldn't describe at all. What kind of luck did he have? Or in other words, are all the abilities in the gift package so advanced? But this possibility was not high and was soon preliminarily ruled out by Lei Feng. At the same time, just as Lei Feng's thoughts were drifting, a warm current began to appear out of thin air in his body, wandering through his limbs, blood vessels, and bones. And a trendy memory quickly flooded into Lei Feng's forehead, with a vast amount of information hovering in his mind. After a moment. Who? Lei Feng let out a heavy breath, opened his eyes, and an excited smile appeared on his face. My current self has already mastered the domineering color and aura. This high-end combat technique. Under the influence of systematic knowledge, Lei Feng only felt that his control over the dominance of the dominant color was natural, and everything became familiar, simple and unobstructed. It's like an innate ability that can be unleashed at will. The use of dominant colors is so simple. Lei Feng smiled. At the same time, in front of him, a virtual panel of the system suddenly appeared, visible but intangible. Host. Lei Feng, power. 5, speed. 6, physical strength. 4, skill. Overlord color and domineering LV1, skill point. 0, this is my personal attribute panel. Lei Feng carefully scrutinized the virtual panel that popped up from the system. Without much thought, he identified this panel as his own attribute panel. The skills section should have been empty here. With the ability gift package that was just signed in as a reward, Lei Feng instantly awakened and took control of the dominant color. Therefore, the domineering color and aura will appear on the skill bar. My strength is still very weak. Almost an ordinary adult can easily crush me. However, with the awakening of the domineering and domineering nature, it means that I have gradually developed a certain level of self-protection ability. In addition, the system's daily check that IN reward gift package. I have a strong premonition. My strength is about to undergo a very rapid transformation and leap. Lei Feng has a very strong sense of confidence in his heart. The system is the capital for oneself to become stronger. Lei Feng, are you sneaking up to the beach like Luffy, trying to run out and become a pirate without authorization? I can tell you, you must become an excellent navy. An old man with a tiger's back and a bear's waist, with a rosy complexion, walked fiercely from behind Lei Feng. He is Munch D. Capp. That is to say Lei Feng's grandfather. At this point, Capp had already raised his warm fist and looked at Lefeng with a disdainful expression. Looking at his posture, it was obvious that he was preparing to give Lefeng a love fist. Although the contact only lasted for less than 2 days. But obviously, Capp has accepted it. The fact that he has an additional 7-year-old grandson is inexplicable. After all, that guy Long wouldn't joke about such things either. Old man, let me, Kirby, Birumabur, and the two of them, join us in training today. Lei Feng turned around and made a proposal. Kabi and Birumabur were subordinates who followed Kapu back to the East Sea and are still temporarily staying in Windmill Village. Now, these two people are undergoing Capp's devilish training every day. Kapu's fierce momentum instantly disintegrated by half. He was stunned. Although it must be admitted that he has indeed begun to think about letting Lefeng follow Kirby and Birumabur into devilish training. But he didn't expect it. Lei Feng will take the initiative to propose. This made Capp couldn't help but recall. Looking back on the past. He forcefully threw Ace and Luffy into those dangerous beast nests. By comparison, Capp couldn't help but glance at Lefeng. Good kid. I have a strong ambition. 7 years old, it's really time to receive these trainings. At that age, Ace and Luffy received devilish training. Are you sure? Capp asked with a serious expression. You need to think carefully. The devilish training of Kabi and Birumabur could be injured at any time. Moreover, my protection may not guarantee your life's safety completely. So, are you really prepared to pay the price of your life? Words fall. Capp looked quietly at Lefeng, waiting for his response. I didn't think too much. Lei Feng replied, of course. Ha ha ha. Kapu suddenly burst out laughing and patted Lefeng's shoulder hard, speaking with a relieved expression on his face. He is truly my grandson. With this courage, I can be more certain now. In the future, you will definitely become a very outstanding navy. Lefeng, who was slapped hard on his shoulder by Capp, had itchy teeth in pain and said, Old man, can you consider my feelings? My shoulder is almost shattered by your slap. Old man. You little devil, big or small, call him grandpa. Old man. Little ghost, it seems that we need you to fully experience the taste of the iron fist full of love. Chapter 3. My grandson, he may be a genius. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This day, Lei Feng was taken by Capp to the back mountain of Windmill Village, a place called Devil's Forest. From then on, it can be officially announced that Lefeng has successfully joined the demonic training of Kirby in Birumabur, becoming a tormented part of the demonic training. Kabi is a teenager with short pink hair. His 16-year-old face looks particularly immature, with a ferocious scar above the corner of his right eye. This scar is the indelible scar that Kabi suffered during the devilish training arranged by Capp during this period. It can be seen from this. The devilish training arranged by Capp really poses a threat to one's life. It's not just playing around and playing house. And Birumabur, on the other hand, was a boy of the same age as Kirby, with long golden curly hair and a slightly taller figure than Kirby. His name is Lei Feng, he's my grandson. Capp pointed at Lefeng and began introducing the Kirby and Birumabur in front of him. Starting today, Lefeng will join your training, he said. Words fall. Kabi and Birumabur looked at Lefeng in front of them with a puzzled expression on their faces. They have heard of it for the first time. Besides Luffy, General Kapu actually has another grandson, and the other one is so young. Hello, my name is Kirby. Kabi offered a friendly and shy greeting. My name is Birumabur. A brief introduction. The two of them met Lei Feng, who was only 7 years old. When learned. Lei Feng is only 7 years old and will be arranged by Capp to undergo devilish training with them of the same difficulty. They couldn't help but sigh inwardly for Lei Feng. What a hard-working child. Lieutenant General Kapu, is this really okay? Kabi looked at Kapu with a slightly worried expression. This is not something I proposed, but rather something that Lei Feng, the little devil, voluntarily proposed to participate in your devilish training. Capp waved his hand casually with a nonchalant expression on his face. But he's your grandson. Kapu hesitated. Alright, I've already become a Navy, and I can't change my motherly personality habits. Capp turned to look at Lefeng and solemnly instructed, Lefeng, I've agreed with you beforehand that if you can't hold on, you can quit. It's not embarrassing. At your age, it's normal for you to not keep up with Kapu's training level. Understood. Lei Feng nodded. Okay, then let's start the training now. Kapu, take Lefeng into the Devil's Forest. Capp's training is very simple. In short, as long as you throw people into the forest nest filled with fierce beasts, the rest of the matter will not fall under Capp's control. As for whether a person is alive or dead, Capp won't ask too much. This is Capp's devilish training. It can also be said. Kapu's devilish training, the instructor is not Kapu, but the fierce beasts in the forest, who are the instructors of Lefeng and his team. Looking ahead at the dimly lit and endless forest, it was like a fierce beast spreading its fangs, waiting for people to actively jump into its abdomen. Lei Feng's expression carried a hint of longing and anticipation. Devil training. Nervous. Cowardly. It doesn't exist. He didn't forget. I have a trump card. A life-saving trump card. Even without protection, Lei Feng would not feel any panic. On the contrary. He is quite looking forward to this devilish training session. Immediately. Without hesitation, Lei Feng took a step forward and stepped into the Devil's Forest. Don't worry, General Kapu. Even if we risk our lives, we will definitely protect your grandson's safety. With such thoughts in mind, Kapu and entered the forest. Watching the figures of Lei Feng and his companions disappear into the forest, Kapu withdrew his gaze and began to ponder in his heart. Long had explained to me before about the origin of Lei Feng, a little ghost. That is to say, before the age of 7, Lei Feng lived a life that was no different from that of an ordinary person. Without any experience, can Lefeng keep up with the training progress of Kapu, and others who have been training for many days? These questions are deeply entangled in Capp's mind. So. My mind twitched. Kapu's figure disappeared into place, lurking in the shadows, following the three of Lefeng. He is like a bystander, checking the progress of the three people to prevent unexpected situations. Although throwing a person into a beast's lair is disregarded. But at least it was Lefeng's first time receiving this kind of training, and Capp still felt a bit uneasy. Furthermore, he also wants to take a look. Lei Feng, can you really handle such devilish training? Therefore, every move of Lei Feng and the others was clearly observed by Capp. Under Capp's observation, he discovered. At first, Lei Feng really couldn't keep up with Kapu's progress. But gradually, at a speed visible to the naked eye, I can see Lei Feng's progress very clearly. At first, Lei Feng appeared very disheveled and completely became a drag on his feet. But surprisingly this situation only lasted for less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, Lefeng had already shown a fairly noticeable adaptation, barely keeping up with the actions of Kapu, and others. This surprised Capp very much. However, Capuan never expected it. This change is just the beginning. 20 minutes later. Lei Feng has already semi-adapted to this forest, and his movements have become very pure, looking like a hunter who has lived in the forest for many years. In addition, the speed, response, and other aspects have all been significantly improved. Proficient in creating an illusion for Kapu, as if seeing an experienced hunter. At this moment, Kapu was startled. This adaptability. It's a bit exaggerated. It's only been 20 minutes, but are we almost catching up with Kapu and his team? Capp's gaze became serious, focused and careful to observe. Only see. About half an hour later. Lei Feng has already grown to a level close to that of Capp, and others. Even if encountering the encirclement and killing of fierce beasts, one can still safely avoid their attacks. Just like, is it the body's instinct? Capp's eyes flickered, and his slightly wrinkled face showed a strong expression of admiration and satisfaction. What a remarkable talent. He is truly my grandson, with my bloodline flowing through him. It was only half an hour before Lei Feng entered the forest. Time may be brief. But in Lei Feng's body, in just half an hour, it fully interprets the tremendous transformation that has occurred in a person's body. Yes. Capp saw it very accurately in his eyes. Lei Feng, we are experiencing a huge transformation. Transforming from a prey to an experienced hunter. And Lei Feng has preliminarily demonstrated that the physical fitness and various abilities possessed by a qualified hunter in the forest are all in place. This completely exceeded Capp's original expectations. Of course Kapu didn't expect it. Lei Feng's adaptability is so fast. Half an hour before and after. Lei Feng, he can completely compare himself with Capp, and the other two. Just half an hour has been spent, but the results obtained are already comparable to the efforts of Capp, and others for nearly half a month. This adaptability is as strong and terrifying as a monster. You should know. Capp and have gone through half a month of devilish training. It is precisely because of this that they exhibit such skilled motor skills in the forest. But Lei Feng, this is the first time experiencing these hardships. For the first time in life, experiencing such hardships only took half an hour before and after, but it was already easy to handle with ease. This kind of monster and anomaly is the first time Capp has seen it in his life. Back then. Whether it's Ace, or Luffy, they are far from being able to achieve such an outstanding performance as Lei Feng today. But Capp saw it from Lefeng. The most crucial aspect is Lei Feng, he is only 7 years old this year. At the age of 7, he had already shown such a terrifying talent. This made Capp couldn't help but be deeply moved by it, and his mood was stirred up by waves. Dragon, you may not even dream of it. The son you brought back this time, my grandson. Lei Feng, he may really be a very remarkable genius. Chapter 4. We hate geniuses. Request for flower tickets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the Devil's Forest. Capp looked at Lei Feng beside him, his eyes filled with deep shock. His mood was fluctuating violently, like waves blown up by a storm, surging one after another and flowing endlessly. This talent and adaptability. The strength is a bit outrageous. Is this the grandson of General Kapu? It can be said. Lei Feng's growth was witnessed by Capp himself. From the beginning, it was embarrassing to not keep up with the rhythm. And gradually integrate into his and Birumaber's actions. Finally, standing shoulder to shoulder with the two of them, Lei Feng became incredibly skilled in every aspect of his movements and actions, without any hint of awkwardness. This is completely unimaginable for Capp. In just half an hour, it can bring such a huge change to a person. It's unbelievable. Half an hour, transformed from an inexperienced beginner to an experienced hunter. If it weren't for witnessing it firsthand, Capp would naturally find it hard to imagine. All of this happened to a 7-year-old child. It's simply shocking to the world. At the age of 7, he had already shown such a terrifying talent. How terrifying will the future grow again? Gollum. Capp swallowed his saliva and his head became a mess. He is really hard to fathom. How strong will Lei Feng's future become? Seeing Lei Feng, Capp felt as if he had seen a high mountain, pressing fiercely against his heart, an unattainable and insurmountable mountain. Even though only 7 years old, it gives Capp an endless sense of oppression at this moment. Lei Feng, is it really his first time experiencing the devilish training of Lieutenant General Capp? If that's the case, then his adaptability is also too terrifying. KB never imagined what the reason was. All the reasons can only be attributed to talent. Lei Feng's talent is too terrifying. There really exists such a terrible genius in this sea. The results obtained from half an hour of training are similar to our half-month training results. KB's mood shook uncontrollably, making it difficult to calm down. He has always believed it. As long as you work hard, you will definitely be able to follow the footsteps of Lefeng and become a major general of the Navy headquarters. For this reason, KB worked very hard to invest in Capp's devilish training, just to chase Luffy and constantly narrow the gap between himself and the naval headquarters. But when I saw Lei Feng in front of me, KB's confidence has suffered an unprecedented blow. We worked hard to train, and perhaps the results we gained in the end were not as effective as Lei Feng's half-day effort. Gap. KB felt it so deeply for the first time. There is really a huge gap between people. This kind of gap is innate. It's simply hard to change. From Lei Feng's body, KB seemed to be able to see it all the time. Lei Feng is everywhere, and the uncontrollable and terrifying talents that cannot be concealed are constantly released from him. In Kirby's eyes, Lei Feng is a terrifying genius that is indescribable. Kirby, this. Birumaber's mood was almost identical to Kirby's. He was also confused. Lei Feng's performance is really outstanding. He can hardly imagine it. Their half-month effort was surprisingly caught up by Lei Feng in half an hour. In this comparison, isn't their half-month just a waste of time? The two of them looked at Lei Feng's eyes, full of shock and dullness, speechless for a moment. This blow is too strong. On Lei Feng, who was only 7 years old, their confidence was severely shattered. After half a month of devilish training, the meticulousness they finally managed to create shattered and collapsed with the appearance of Lei Feng today. Originally, Kobe doesn't believe in talent wheels. Until I saw Lei Feng. At this moment, KB gradually began to believe. Some people are born unique. It's obvious. Lei Feng, in KB's eyes, it's just this kind of existence. At this point, Lei Feng only realized the emotional changes between Kirby and Birumaber and said, "What's going on?" "No, it's nothing." KB quickly shook his head and then asked in a slightly weak and probing tone, "Mr. Lei Feng, I have a question. Are you really participating in this devilish training for the first time?" Regarding this, Birumaber also quickly cast his gaze. Under the gaze of the two, Lei Feng smiled and answered, "Yes, what's wrong? This shouldn't make it difficult for you to accept, should it?" After obtaining the answer, the emotions of Kirby and Birumaber were already numb to the shock. Difficult to accept. This is not just difficult to accept. I almost doubt life. Who? KB took a deep breath. It took him a lot of time to forcefully suppress the many intense emotional fluctuations in his heart. Alright, it's time to continue training. Lei Feng's eyes flickered as he gazed at the forest ahead. After half an hour of training, he had almost fully grasped the survival experience of the forest. Design a counter-kill under the pursuit of fierce beasts. Fighting head-on with fierce beasts. These experiences made Lei Feng feel very clearly. I am becoming stronger at a very terrifying speed. The taste of becoming stronger made him deeply intoxicated. General Kapu, your grandson, why are both of them so terrifying? However, even monsters like Mr. Luffy may not be as good as Lei Feng, right? KB thought with a palpitated expression on his face. Let no one live. I have worked hard for half a month and ended up giving others half an hour to surpass me. This really makes me look like a foodie. Today, after seeing Lei Feng, KB truly realized. It turns out that in this world, there really exists such a terrifying genius beyond ordinary people's understanding. Let's go. Kabi and Birumabur forcefully calmed their emotions. A group of 3 continued their survival trials in this crisis-ridden forest. It's just different from when I first stepped into the Devil's Forest. Now Lei Feng can fully keep up with the pace of Kabi and Birumabur's actions. Even over time, Lei Feng became increasingly relaxed and adept at handling these things. This made the 2 of Kabi and Birumabur beside them see it, and their emotions were mixed. Just before entering the forest, they were still thinking confidently in their hearts. In this training session in the Devil's Forest, I will fulfill my responsibilities and obligations as an experienced senior, and do my best to protect Lei Feng's integrity and prevent any accidents from happening to him. Never expected. Half an hour later. Directly evolving into they seem to be becoming a burden on the team. This slap on the face is too fast. Just thinking about this. The 2 couldn't help but howl in their hearts. We hate geniuses. Even more annoying, a genius who is at least half the age of us. Lieutenant General Kapu, you didn't have any prior agreement with us. Your grandson is actually a monster of this level. This devilish training doesn't seem like we're fully protecting him. More like he is protecting our safety. Chapter 5. Crazy Attempts. Unexpected Incidents. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Afterwards. Kabi and Birumabur, holding various emotions, appeared somewhat indifferent and unable to focus on the current devilish training. It's very obvious. They were already severely hit by the talent displayed by Lei Feng. So much so that their mentality has undergone varying degrees of change. Have you seen that long-toothed giant elephant? Lei Feng asked Kabi and Birumabur beside him. He looked straight ahead with both eyes, his body hidden in the grass, his breath completely restrained, like a perfect lurker waiting for an opportunity to move. Look, see. Kabi quickly reacted and looked at the giant elephant ahead, nodding. The long-toothed giant elephant is the most common beast in the Devil's Forest, reaching a height of 8 meters, nearly 12 meters in length, and weighing up to 20 tons. It is a very fierce beast. Later, you 2 go and attract its attention, while I am responsible for harvesting. Lei Feng's mind moved. Clear and understandable. No, wait a moment. Kabi widened his eyes and pointed to the giant elephant. Mr. Lei Feng, do you mean that we should actively provoke this beast? He was stunned. On weekdays, when they encounter such fierce beasts, they can hardly escape in time. Now, surprisingly, they should take the initiative to provoke this fierce beast. Crazy. Are you joking? Is it just us? Birumabur has a dry and astringent throat. This is too crazy. At this moment, he only felt that his hands had become a bit cold, and his whole body was erect with sweat. Let them deal with this level of behemoth. Isn't this going to be sent to death? This beast weighing up to 20 tons, if it kicks down, they may have no bones left on the spot. Yes, it's up to us. Lei Feng's eyes flickered. He wants to give it a try, squeeze to the extreme by the crisis, thus unleashing one's limits. This. Kabi's words are somewhat incoherent. He can't see through Lei Feng at all. Ming is only 7 years old next year, but the other person's thinking ability, courage far surpass those of him and Birumabur, who are 15 or 16 years old teenagers. But even so, this action is too crazy. Let's keep a low profile and prioritize safety as much as possible, right? Birumabur felt timid in his heart. The key, in his opinion. The gap between the 2 sides is really huge. How can they deal with such a huge beast after only half a month of demon training? This is simply a dream. Mr. Lei Feng, are you really confident in dealing with it? Kabi couldn't help but ask. He had no idea how Lei Feng, who was only 7 years old, would use any means to defeat this behemoth. It's just an attempt, I'm only half sure if it will succeed. So, You two should also pay attention to your own safety issues. Lei Feng smiled and patted both of their shoulders. The two of them had a momentary conversation. 2 minutes later. Kabi and Birumabur, under immense pressure, attempted to approach the long-toothed giant ahead step by step with their trembling bodies. The pupils of the two were filled with a strong sense of timidity. Crazy, I must be crazy. I actually want to try to provoke this beast. Can you still regret it now? Birumabur kept muttering at the corner of his mouth. Calm down. You must be calm. Kabi forcefully made his mind calm. But even so, his mind was still in chaos, and his thinking ability seemed to have become rigid. Seeing this scene, Capp, hidden in the dark, also widened his eyes. Are they crazy? These three little ghosts actually want to provoke the long-toothed giant elephant. Kapu was stunned. He couldn't even dream of it. These three little ghosts are surprisingly bold. In my impression, Kirby and Birumabur don't seem to be such bold and reckless people either. Lei Feng, what exactly does this kid want to do? Kapu immediately thought of Lefeng. Under the gaze. Only see. Kabi and Birumabur walked to an area less than 20 meters away from the long-toothed giant, and at such close range, they met the long-toothed giant head-on. This moment, both of them felt a slight weakness in their legs. Only when the behemoth stands in front of them can they deeply understand how terrifying and oppressive the species with such a huge question type is. Moo. The long-toothed giant elephant emitted a deafening cry, like thunderous roars that echoed through the sky, almost shattering their eardrums. Wait a moment. Why do I feel like the ground beneath my feet is vibrating? Birumabur's pupils shrank and he looked at his feet in fear. Gollum. Kabi swallowed his saliva, twisted his stiff neck, and looked down. We seem to stepped on the body of another beast. That is to say, we messed up two fierce beasts at once. Words fall. Birumabur's legs have softened. The long-toothed giant elephant's roar just now was not because it saw us. Instead, the beast we were stepping on was discovered by it. Was the roar just now a warning? Kabi cannot move. He can feel it. The vibration frequency of the ground I am stepping on is getting higher and higher. Like a great earthquake. Even more violently shaking than a major earthquake. At the same time, their vision has gradually been elevated. Just like, the body is lifted by some object. The scene they saw in their eyes was constantly shaking. The whole world seems to be experiencing intense shaking. Chapter 6. Dominant and Domineering, Fully Unleash. 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Stand still, don't move around. Kabi quickly shouted at Birumabur beside him. The situation is deadlocked now, and neither beast has noticed them. Once they stir up, the situation will be disrupted. In the battle between the two fierce beasts, they could be crushed at any time. In fact, I really want to move. Birumabur squeezed out a smile that was even uglier than crying. His body has stiffened. Not to mention fidgeting, even if he were to escape now, he couldn't control his legs to escape. Not far. Lei Feng stared in the direction of Kabi and his companions. This wave. It seems like I've played too much. Surprisingly, there has always been a fierce beast hidden. This was something he had not anticipated before. Now. One time, it provoked a two-handed beast. Lei Feng felt that the situation was somewhat beyond his control. Who? Taking a heavy breath, Lei Feng stepped forward and approached the crisis-ridden battlefield ahead. Originally just an attempt, but now, he has to take it seriously. Because in the current situation, even a slight mistake can really lead to death. If not taken seriously, all three of them may be completely wiped out here. Woo! A roaring roar came from the mouth of the giant beast that lifted up the bodies of Kirby and Birumabur, with a loud voice that almost echoed through the sky. It exposed its body and was a fierce beast resembling a turtle, with a body length of 7 meters. Two giant beasts, facing each other. The atmosphere is oppressive. Lei Feng, this little ghost, just a little carelessness caused me a big trouble. I still have to take action, otherwise the three of them will be in danger. Kapu is preparing to take action and take steps forward. But suddenly I saw it. At this moment, Lei Feng is walking step by step towards the center of the two giant beasts ahead. So. Capp's movements abruptly came to a halt and came to a halt. What the hell is this kid thinking? Is he crazy? Even though he knew that the area between the two fierce beasts was the most dangerous, did he take the initiative to break into it? Maybe later, even I might not have time to save him. What nonsense! Not abandoning companions is a very good character. But blindly taking the initiative to die without seeing the situation clearly is not bravery, it is foolishness. Capp's expression changed wildly, his eyebrows furrowed, and he stared closely at Lefeng's back. He can't figure it out at all. What exactly does Lei Feng want to do? Are you going to die? Without a doubt. In Capp's view, Lei Feng's move is no different from sending him to death. These two fierce beasts are obviously not something that Lei Feng and his team can handle. Therefore, from the beginning, in Capp's eyes, the actions of the three of Lefeng were like crazy probing on the road to death. It's all right now. I really succeeded in killing them. Mr. Lei Feng, please don't come over. Go find General Kapu. Kabi stood on the turtle shell and saw Lefeng walking step by step towards the center, forcefully suppressing his inner fear and gritting his teeth to dissuade him. It's over, it's over. Birumabur watched as Lefeng refused to listen, and his face turned pale with despair. Now it's really over. Birumabur has a loveless expression on his face. What kind of madness are you? I actually believed Lei Feng's lies. If there is a regret medicine, Birumabur wouldn't even want to do the crazy behavior he did just now. But the matter has come to this point and cannot be changed. At the same time, Lei Feng's footsteps paused. At this moment, he is already standing in the middle of two fierce beasts. It can be said that before and after wolves, behind tigers. No. This is a beast that needs to be strengthened countless times more horizontally than a wolf-tiger. There is a long-toothed giant elephant in front and a giant turtle measuring 7 meters in length at the back. This scene, falling into the eyes of Kirby and Birumabur, it made their hearts even colder. Lei Feng took the initiative to break into the middle of these two, which was simply a desperate act. Done, Lieutenant General Kapu, come quickly. If you don't come again, we really have to finish playing. Kabi couldn't help but pray in his heart. At present, only with the arrival of Capp can we solve the current desperate situation. Otherwise, they will soon be buried in the aftermath of the collision between these two fierce beasts. Located in the central area, Lei Feng took a deep look at the long-toothed giant elephant in front of him. At close range, one can more clearly see the massive body of the long-toothed giant elephant, which is like a high mountain, with rough skin and thick flesh, and a large body. Turn around. Visible. A giant 7-meter-long turtle in the back, with its red pupils filled with red, stared straight at Lei Feng, who suddenly intervened in the center of the battlefield. It's obvious. At this moment, both behemoths sensed Lei Feng, who had intervened in the battlefield. The reason why they did not act easily is not because they were afraid of Lei Feng, but purely because they deeply feared each other, which is why they dare not act rashly to break the deadlock. As for Lei Feng, in their eyes, this is just a small and fragile mole ant, not enough to be afraid of. The oppression of two giant beasts. It's really stressful. Lei Feng smiled unusually. This made KB and Birumabur even more scalp-tingling. Can you still laugh out of this situation? What kind of psychological quality is this? At this moment, they changed their previous views on Lei Feng. Lei Feng, not just a genius. And he's a terrible lunatic. How foolish they used to be to follow a crazy plan. It's over now. Moo. The long-toothed giant elephant roared. The voice is loud and spreads in all directions. It ultimately couldn't help but choose to take action. Visible to the naked eye. The long-toothed giant elephant waved its huge elephant trunk and smashed fiercely at the turtle shells that KB and Birumabur were standing in front of it, fiercely and without a match. The target of the long-toothed giant elephant is not KB and Birumabur, but the turtle below them. But they are targets implicated in the attack. Done. KB and Birumabur trembled. I can't escape. They could only watch helplessly as the huge elephant trunk fell towards their own body. The elephant's nose swung down, as if blocking the sky and sun make them feel that the environment around them has become dim. Not good. Capp, who was hiding in the dark, took a deep breath and prepared to charge forward. If he doesn't take action again, he's worried that it won't be too late. At this point, the center of the battlefield, Lei Feng quietly watched the long-toothed giant elephant launch an attack. I say, since I dare to provoke this long-toothed giant elephant, I must have some confidence. You too, no matter how you say it, at least give me some confidence. Next second. Before the trunk of the long-toothed giant elephant never fell. A faint breath began to crazily release from the body of Lei Feng, who was only 7 years old. Buzz. The breath is weak, at first like a stream or river in an instant. The breath is constantly changing. Boom. The aura emanating from Lei Feng quickly turned into a rolling sea current, surging and surging, spreading rapidly in all directions at an extremely terrifying speed. The momentum seems like a transparent circle, sweeping across a radius of several kilometers in an instant. Magnificent. Exciting. Like surging waves. This momentum is like dominant and domineering. Chapter 7. Amazing heavenly overlord and shaking the four directions. 3 changes seeking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Known as. Among millions of people, only one person possesses the potential for terrifying talent. Dominant and domineering. The domineering aura emanating from Lei Feng's body quickly spread to all directions at a terrifying speed, spreading several kilometers around. Taking Lei Feng's body as the center point, all living beings within a radius of several kilometers are enveloped by this towering and domineering aura. The release and impact of this momentum only occurred in an instant. Make the atmosphere here change so quickly. Like a calm sea, suddenly a storm engulfed the sky and earth. The momentum is like waves, surging and sweeping every inch of the corner. Buzz. The majestic airflow generated by the domineering color presents a transparent circle, suppressed with unparalleled aura, spreading further away. In an instant this astonishing and domineering aura was precisely controlled by Lei Feng, sweeping the 2 massive beasts in front and behind, squeezing every cell of their bodies. At the moment when the body is affected by the tyrannical waves. Boom. It was as if the extremely terrifying waves were surging and rapidly hitting their bodies, constantly eroding them and making them feel incredibly profound. That kind of fear and trembling originating from the soul. It's like encountering a terrifying creature that far surpasses them in terms of bloodline level, completely dominating their hearts with fear. Beasts also fear. Woo, a mournful cry filled with fear emanated from their mouths. Although they may not necessarily possess intelligence, the fear stemming from their bloodline can still make them unable to control their bodies and shiver. Yes. This shocking and domineering aura swept through their bodies, causing them to feel extremely rare and trembling from the bottom of their hearts. The fear in the heart and soul governs their remaining thoughts. Therefore, Visible to the naked eye, the long-toothed giant elephant, which was dominated by fear and had only thoughts left, suddenly stiffened and stopped in mid-air, unable to survive or fall. This scene made the atmosphere here even more eerie. Silence. Without a sound, the action that Capp was originally planning to take, he stood still and stood in place in a daze. Take a look. His face was filled with a deep look of astonishment. At the same time, what's going on here? Kabi and Birumabur were both confused. They looked at the huge elephant nose above their heads, stiff in mid-air but never falling, with despair and a dull expression on their faces. What's the situation? Surviving from a desperate situation. I thought it was a dead end. I never thought about it. So eerie, it has welcomed a glimmer of vitality. Me, am I still alive? Birumabur opened his frightened eyes and stared at his head with a look of horror. Still visible. The huge elephant trunk blocked the sunlight shining down from above their heads, making the area they were in appear particularly dim. What happened? Birumabur's lips trembled and he muttered with a shocked expression. I can't understand. Why did the attack of this long-toothed giant stop abruptly? Just now. What exactly happened that prompted the long-toothed giant to terminate its attack intent? Kirby, this. Birumabur looked at Kirby beside him. But it can only be seen. Kabi had a shocked and bewildered expression on his face, standing motionless in place like a chicken. The fear and despair that still lingered in Kirby's face were reignited, igniting many emotional waves such as shock and shock within. Up close. You can see more clearly that the huge elephant nose above their heads is only less than 1 meter away from their bodies. But just above this 1 meter position, it came to a strange abrupt end. What is it that affects the long-toothed giant elephant? Gollum. Kabi's throat rolled and he swallowed saliva. He sensed it. The huge pupils of the long-toothed giant elephant in front of me revealed a humanized emotional wave. That's fear. Kabi can be certain that he definitely didn't read it wrong. The pupils of the long-toothed giant elephant do indeed show a look of fear. Long-toothed giant elephant, is it in fear? Me, my goodness. What makes it fearful? Kabi's head seemed to be pounded hard by a heavy object, becoming a mess. Unbelievable. How could a beast of this level, a long-toothed giant elephant, be afraid? How could this be possible? Why is it afraid? No, not just the long-toothed giant elephant. Kabi, look at our feet again. Birumabur's lips trembled. So. Kabi twisted his stiff neck and looked down at his feet. Only see. The giant 7-meter-long turtle under my feet, for some unknown reason, caused the entire shell of the turtle to tremble slightly. Can't it be? Even it is in fear. Two beasts of such size and tonnage encountered something extremely terrifying at the same time, causing them to fall into a state of extreme fear. This kind of thing is completely unheard of by Ku compared to before. What is it that makes them appear so fearful? Woo-woo, two terrifying giant beasts echoed with mournful cries of fear. The sound spreads in all directions. It reached the ears of Kabi and Birumabur, making it even more difficult for them to conceal the strong and shocking emotions in their hearts. All of this has happened in such a shocking and secular way. And this is not the most terrifying place yet. The scariest thing is until now. Neither of them can understand at all. Why are the two giant beasts so afraid? What is the root cause of their fear? I can't figure it out. Although there were no attacks hitting these two beasts, they still had a strange fear that made their bodies tremble uncontrollably. Boom. Boom. At this moment, the long-toothed giant elephant stepped on the ground, with a body weighing nearly 20 tons, causing waves of trembling and shaking as it stepped on the ground. Its body, surprisingly rare, began to wobble as if drunk, and its fearful pupils seemed to be somewhat lax, seeming to be prone to falling to the ground at any moment. Similarly, the turtle under the feet of Kabi and Birumabur also began to shake slightly to varying degrees. Are they, about to fall down? Kabi and Birumabur were both stunned and numb. Who can explain to them the kind of thing happening in front of us? What exactly is the reason? Well done. Two giant beasts, why are they falling down? Many confusions and shocks filled the minds of Kirby and Birumabur. Let the two of them stand dumbfounded on the turtle's back, their bodies appearing bewildered and stiff. The development of the matter has overturned their cognition. Chapter 8. Shocking Capp. An innate talent. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wu-Wu the long-toothed giant elephant is constantly wailing, its voice weak and carrying a strong wave of fear. The huge turtle trembled and trembled, carrying Kabi and Birumabur on their backs, making them feel that the whole world seemed to be shaking and trembling violently. Make Kabi dare not even dream. These two massive terrifying beasts, at this moment, are surprisingly rare in fear. Why? Just now, what exactly happened? Kabi's face was pale and his words were trembling. It's so weird. He can't figure it out at all. What caused the fear of these two fierce beasts? Although they did not see any attacks hitting these two giant beasts, they seemed to be eroded by invisible forces, dominating their bodies and making them tremble with fear. Boom! Boom! Two giant beasts stepped forward, trampling on this piece of land, causing the ground to tremble uncontrollably. Judging from their appearance, it seems like they could collapse and faint at any moment. Are you about to fall down? Can anyone explain what's wrong with them? Kabi's lips trembled and he looked at the eerie scene in shock. At the same time, a circular area within a radius of several kilometers, with Lei Feng as the center point. All living creatures, countless birds and animals, including rabbits, wolves, tigers, and other animals living in the forest, are all enveloped by this terrifying aura without exception. That moment, they are all without exception, their bodies perform the same instinctive actions. Pop it. Pop it. One after another, animals and beasts suddenly turned white in their eyes, frothing at the mouth, and lost consciousness, tilting their bodies towards the nearby area. All in one, without any exceptions. All fell down. Hundreds or even thousands of animals are paralyzed on the ground, fainting and motionless. The eerie scene happened within a radius of several kilometers of this forest. Looking around, it can be clearly observed that there are numerous animal bodies lying on the ground, as if they have lost their lives. Many of them are still lying on the ground convulsing and foaming wildly from their mouths. A radius of several kilometers, no more animal can bounce around alive. Make the atmosphere in this forest even more eerie and eerie. These animals all fell down in just 1 second. It's obvious. They both fell unconscious at the same time. On the other side, Kapu's original intention to rush forward to save the person came to a sudden halt, and his body became somewhat stiff, frozen in place like a statue. Stubborn. My body is very stiff. My hands and joints seem to be stuck. Kapu's eyes were stunned and he stared blankly at the battlefield ahead. The moment before, a battlefield full of crisis in his eyes. At this moment, the situation appears incredibly peaceful. The elephant trunk of the long-toothed giant elephant is stiff and stagnant in mid-air, unable to fall anymore, as if it is tightly bound by some terrifying force, controlling its body to be unable to move at all. Visible to the naked eye, the long-toothed giant elephant and the giant turtle were trembling with fear, their huge eyes and pupils revealing a strong color of fear. All of this is revealing a terrible fact. A fact that even Capp couldn't believe. I didn't feel wrong, did I? Kapu's throat was dry and he couldn't help but open his mouth. My gaze twitched. My gaze pierced through these two fearful beasts, as well as Kabi and Birumabur, two guys with shocked faces. In the end, Capp's gaze fixed on the center of the battlefield. He stared blankly at the young figure standing in the center of the battlefield, sandwiched between two giant beasts. In such a strange environment, this young and immature figure stands out and catches the eye. Just now, that was. Kapu was stunned, even his words were somewhat incoherent. He would rather believe it. He had a hallucination just now. But the scenes before us are constantly being verified. This is not an illusion. But it actually happened. Two fierce beasts were subdued in an instant. Similarly, Capp did not see any attacks hitting these two giants. But they seemed to be eroded by invisible forces, causing the entire body to be completely dominated by fear, which is why the current humanized gaze of fear is revealed. They, in fear. And there's something else. At that moment, in a radius of several kilometers, all the animals collapsed. All of this is showing, my guess is not wrong. My feeling just now was not an illusion. Everything is really happening. Capp's observations allowed him to have a very accurate insight. That moment just now. All animals in a radius of several kilometers fainted and collapsed simultaneously. In addition, Capp also experienced it firsthand. The previous second, the momentum that affected my body, the familiar features contained in this momentum. Familiar fluctuations. This leaves Capp with no reason to associate the second possibility. The fact is already before our eyes. Kapu had to accept what was happening before him, which could be considered a terrifying thing in the world. The momentum just now without a doubt. There's no second possibility either. Overlord color. That's the domineering color. It is claimed that only 1 in a million people possesses the potential of a king. Is it indeed an innate talent? Kapu took a deep breath, forcefully suppressing his inner shock, his eyes fixed on the young figure in the center of the battlefield, and couldn't help but blurt it out for a moment. Lei Feng, this little ghost. He actually awakened his domineering aura. This is simply unimaginable. It's amazing. Chapter 9. At the age of 7, he completely controls the monster with domineering colors. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kapu was stunned. He was stunned and lost in thought, standing in the same place. The originally planned action stiffened, and his mood was stirred up by the scenes before him, causing a huge wave that was difficult to calm. What a domineering look. Only this explanation can explain the strange things that happened just now. In a radius of several kilometers, all animals fainted and collapsed simultaneously. Kapu's mood was shaken uncontrollably. He can't imagine it at all. Lei Feng is not only physically adaptable, but also as strong as a monster. Moreover, it has awakened the means of being domineering. Amazing. Kapu's mood was temporarily difficult to calm down. Key. He's only 7 years old. Capp took a deep breath, but the vibration of his mood still couldn't calm down. Did you awaken your dominance at the age of only 7? It's unbelievable. Boom. Boom. The two giant beasts had chaotic steps and their bodies looked shaky, as if they could tilt to the side at any moment. Their pupils are somewhat disoriented, and their eyes also show a humanized fear, emitting waves of mournful cries as if begging for mercy and forgiveness. Capp and Birumabur, standing on the back of the giant turtle, still appeared bewildered, their heads in a mess, and their thinking abilities were stiff and unable to think normally. Finally, the long-toothed giant elephant retracted its huge trunk, allowing Capp and the others to see the sun again and feel the warm sunshine falling from the horizon. Us, did we survive now? Birumabur's face was filled with astonishment. It's so weird. Completely unexpected, this matter has developed beyond expectations, subverting cognition and common sense. It seems like this. Capp nodded blankly. Under their gaze, Only see. The long-toothed giant elephant staggered forward, almost wanting to retreat and escape from this terrifying place, but with its dilated pupils, it was unable to support its massive body. Thus, it fell down. Boom boom. The massive body of the long-toothed giant elephant, weighing more than 20 tons, slammed fiercely onto the nearby ground, causing the entire earth to experience intense vibrations and shaking. A wave of dust drifted freely on the ground. The earth was hit by the body of the long-toothed giant, creating a significant depression. From then on, long-toothed giant elephant, unconscious and fainting. Down, down. Kapp's throat rolled and he swallowed saliva. A monster that imbued them with a sense of despair fainted eerily and collapsed. It is terrifying that they did not see any attack on this long-toothed giant elephant. Boom boom. The giant turtle under its feet can also be clearly felt, unable to support its body, paralyzed with weak limbs, and its entire body and shell smashed to the ground. Suddenly, Kapp and Birumabur were both violently shaken and their bodies jumped up. It also collapsed. Well, all of this. Kapp widened his eyes and looked shocked. Kapp, my legs are weak. Birumabur's legs were weak and his body was paralyzed above the turtle shell. The scene I saw today. Undoubtedly. All of this overturned their cognitive views. They couldn't even dream of it. They will eventually be rescued in this eerie way. Even they couldn't find the reason why they were rescued. Located between two giant beasts. Lift your head. Lei Feng glanced at the fallen beasts and a smile appeared on his face. After all, I still haven't let myself down. Overlord color, sometimes it is still very effective. Although at present, the level of dominance and aura that I have in control of is not high. However, it still appears to be more than enough to deal with this small beast. Lei Feng has gained a clearer understanding of the dominant color he controls. Immediately. After suppressing many thoughts in his mind, Lefeng turned his head and looked at Kapp and Birumabur standing on the turtle shell. Are you two okay? You can see the trembling bodies of Kapp and Birumabur. Not bad, not bad. Kapp forced a smile, his face pale and devoid of blood. At the same time, watching helplessly, the two giant beasts fainted and collapsed. Capp's gaze once again focused on Lefeng and did not move. Wait. I seem to have discovered something even more terrifying and astonishing. This. Capp opened his mouth, his face even more stunning. As is well known. For those who awaken their dominance for the first time, they will be unable to control the range of their dominance and the objects they attack. This is an unconscious release of dominant colors. This situation only occurs at critical moments. And for those who awaken their first dominant color, after releasing their first dominant color, the vast majority will face the fate of fainting, just like those who are enveloped by the dominant color. But at this moment, what did Capp see? Lei Feng, this little ghost. He didn't actually fall down. Isn't this his first time releasing his domineering aura? Capp widened his eyes and his mood shook wildly. Not right. Still not in line with common sense. Wait a minute. Capp forced himself to calm down, and he couldn't help but recall. Just now, Lei Feng's act of breaking into the space between two giant beasts without hesitation, alone. At that time, Capp believed that this action was a foolish act of dying. However, looking back at this moment, it gave Capp a completely different perspective. Lei Feng, this little ghost, confidently entered the battlefield and was alone between two giant beasts, yet still did not show any timid or panicked expressions. So, he had a very high level of confidence in himself at that time. He believes that he can definitely solve this dilemma. Then, at a critical moment when Kapp and his companions were on the brink of death, their domineering aura was instantly fully released from Lei Feng's body. What does this mean? Even Capp was frightened by his current speculation. This means the domineering appearance just now was not an unintentional move by Lei Feng, but a preparation that had already been made. This illustrates one point. Lei Feng, this little ghost, actually, has long awakened his dominance. Even more terrifying is, he not only awakened his dominant color, but also without anyone to teach him. He gradually began to release and control his self-understanding of the dominant color. Something terrible has come. Although no one taught him how to use his domineering aura, he actually managed to do it, completely controlling it and being able to freely control and release it as he pleased. How could this be possible? Kapu's mood was like surging waves, rolling one after another. Awakening the dominant color, and controlling the dominant color, these are two completely different concepts. In the stage of awakening the dominant color, only when facing a critical moment of life and death will the dominant color be subconsciously released. But the latter, that is to be able to freely release the dominant color at will. There is a fundamental difference between these two. And what did Capp see today? He saw it. Lei Feng, you can freely unleash your domineering charm. Not awakening, but rather control. Fully control the dominant color. In the things that Dragon had told me before, he never mentioned the matter of Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is obvious that Dragon himself did not know that his son had awakened the matter of Tyrannosaurus Rex. So what can be certain is, Lei Feng's domineering demeanor has never been taught by anyone. That is to say, this little devil's domineering aura is truly something he has mastered without a teacher, relying solely on his own talent. Oh my goodness! Kapu dare not think. Overlord color, self-taught. How terrifying a talent is needed to achieve this. In the end, in this matter, I have never overlooked a more shocking and worldly key point. My grandson, Lei Feng, is only 7 years old this year. Yes. He's only 7 years old. Even Capp's experience is deeply shocked and horrified by the occurrence of such a thing. Lei Feng is only 7 years old. At the age of 7, he awakened his domineering spirit, which had already made Capp feel deeply shocked. Not to mention at the age of 7, one has complete control and the ability to freely unleash their dominance. Capp has never heard of such terrifying examples of cognitive subversion. Genius. No. This is no longer something that a genius can describe. Perhaps, this anomaly should be referred to as monster. At the age of only 7, a terrifying monster with a domineering aura was perfectly controlled. This day, Capp, a naval hero who has seen countless great scenes and is well informed, has completely refreshed his worldview by Lefeng. The person who displays his domineering aura in Chapter 10 is Lei Feng. You are listening at Naval Full.audio. Who? After exhaling heavily, Capp took a step forward and walked towards the area where the two giant beasts had fallen, no longer choosing to continue hiding. There is no need to hide anymore. My grandson is a very remarkable genius. While Kapu's mood was shaken, a strong sense of excitement emerged. At the age of only 7, he has perfectly mastered the domineering monster. The other party is their own grandson. With Capp's active appearance, Kabi and Birumabur, who were originally in a state of confusion, all came to their senses, but even so, there was still a strong sense of shock in their eyes. All the things that happened just now have overturned their cognitive views. General Kapu, why did you come? Kabi blurted out. I have been observing your every move, but you haven't noticed it. Capp spoke casually, his gaze fixed on Lefeng, and the color of admiration in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. Okay. My own grandson is a terrible genius. At the age of only 7, he controlled the existence of the dominant color. Presumably. Even if you look at this sea, it's hard to see a second one, right? Kapu thinks. He suddenly gained an extra capital to boast and show off to the warring states period. Thinking of this, Capp wanted to burst out laughing. Have you been there all along? Bellumibo looked surprised, and then couldn't help roast. Lieutenant General Capp, since you have been here all the time, still watched us fall into a desperate situation. Regarding this, Kapu looked angry and said, I haven't even mentioned that you brainless fools actually provoked the long-toothed giant elephant. Are you accusing me of not saving you? You really don't know how much weight you have and dare to make such crazy behavior. Words fall. Birumabur quickly lowered his head, looking nervous and hesitant to speak again. General Kapu, we were wrong. Kabi lowered his head and humbly admitted his mistake. Lei Feng, you little devil, you are such a troublemaker. Kapu turned his head to look at Lefeng and couldn't help but speak. Old man, haven't I already turned danger into safety? Lei Feng smiled, disapproving. His original goal was just a long-toothed giant elephant. Unexpected occurrences may occur. At once, two fierce beasts appeared. But it's okay. The domineering color has a significant impact in critical moments. Let Lei Feng deal with these two fierce beasts all at once. Faced with Lefeng's words, Capp was speechless for a moment. General Kapu, what exactly happened just now? Why did they all fall down in a strange way? What is the reason for this? Did you take action? Kabi couldn't help but hurry to ask. This confusion has been lingering in his mind, leaving him puzzled. I really can't figure it out. Yeah, Lieutenant General Kapu, why did they lose consciousness so eerily? We didn't see any attacks on them. Including Birumabur, there was also a puzzled expression. You ask him. Capp pointed angrily at Lefeng. Seeing Lefeng's expression, now Capp can be more certain. Lei Feng, you must have a very clear understanding of what kind of ability the domineering color and domineering aura are. This made Karp unable to recognize roast. What a monster. At this age, I am so proficient in controlling the dominant color. If we give the other party more time, how far will they have to grow? Even Capp couldn't imagine this. Mr. Lei Feng, is all of this related to you? Kabi and Birumabur looked shocked. They certainly didn't expect it. Did the strange and terrifying phenomenon just now be closely related to Lei Feng in front of me? How could this be possible? Lei Feng, is it the root cause of those two fierce beasts losing consciousness? It's unbelievable. It's too unbelievable. This. Birumabur has a dry and astringent throat. Forget it, although your current level is not very high, you should also be exposed to some common knowledge about this ocean. Today, I will briefly promote it to you. Capp spoke slowly and said, there are quite a few devil fruit abilities on the sea, and you should know a lot about them. I won't introduce devil fruit to you too much. In addition to the devil's fruit, there is also a very practical combat technique in our Navy. It is called the Navy Type 6. It is a practical combat technique that I established in the past. Only the elite in the Navy can fully learn the Navy's Type 6. And it is this type of Navy Type 6, which can only be learned by the elite of the Navy, and can only serve as the basic threshold for another combat method. Only by mastering the Navy's Type 6 can one be considered preliminarily qualified to engage in and learn another higher level combat method. This higher level combat tactic is called domineering. Words fall. Kabi and Birumabur lost their focus for a moment. Dominant. A completely unfamiliar word. They heard of this combat tactic for the first time. But they can imagine it. They are undoubtedly very far away from this type of combat method. Now they don't even have the qualification to interact with the Navy Type 6. Not to mention, it is necessary to learn the Navy Type 6 as the basic threshold in order to be eligible to be exposed to the higher level of dominance than the Navy Type 6. Dominance can be divided into three types. The first type is called armed color dominance. As you all know, those with natural abilities are immune to all physical attacks. However, when armed color dominance is used, those with natural abilities will no longer be immune to attacks with armed color dominance. In addition, armed color dominance can extend to the weapons in hand, giving them higher defense and attack power, which can be considered a very practical combat method. The second type is called seeing, hearing, and looking domineering, which can anticipate the enemy's attack trajectory in advance, so as to dodge before the enemy's attack has arrived. These two types of dominance are very far away from you, so I won't introduce them to you more. The key is that the third kind of dominance. It is also praised by the people of the sea as having the potential to be a king with such talent, only among millions of people. It's called domineering and domineering. This is a combat technique that requires talent to be mastered. Without talent, one will never be able to control this technique in their lifetime. The cultivation difficulty coefficient of Ba Wang Se Ba Chi is far more difficult than that of armed Se Ba Chi, and seeing and hearing Se Ba Chi, even more than 100 times more difficult. The large amount of news caused Kabi and Birumabur to feel dizzy. Armed and visible colors already make them feel out of reach. At this moment, another domineering color has appeared, which is 100 times more difficult than armed and visible colors, and may even be more powerful. Overlord and Domineering. Its function is to create an extremely terrifying and powerful aura after release, invisibly enveloping the enemy's body. This momentum can instantly crush the consciousness of enemies with weak consciousness, causing them to lose consciousness and faint. From the outside, there are no visible scars. This is a mental impact, not a physical attack. Speaking of which, Capp paused for a moment. However, Kaka and Birumabur's expressions were already stunned. This description how similar is the eerie scene they just encountered. The two fierce beasts just now, although there were no injuries on their bodies, mysteriously lost consciousness one after another and lay unconscious on the ground. Difficult, can it be? Kabi and Birumabur widened their eyes and looked at Lefeng beside them with a shocked expression on their faces. No way, right? Unbelievable. Yes, you should have guessed it too. The reason why those two ferocious beasts fainted inexplicably and lost consciousness just now was because they were struck by the dominance of the dominant color and their consciousness was instantly crushed. As for those who display their domineering and domineering colors, he is Lei Feng. Kapu continued. In vain. The atmosphere has become silent. Without a sound. At this moment, the expressions of Kirby and Birumabur became increasingly dull.